now watching About That TV.
And you're watching About That Online.
Yo, when you out here, when you in these streets, if you're trying to keep it mental, then you need to be about that.
What's going on, people? This is the Carla.
Most money won't kill the MVK Bob KB. It's the baddest money praise wrestling.
You watching About That.
Peace, family. So today we're going to check out Steady Mobbin, the West Coast group from No Limit. What's happened to them now? If you haven't already, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell to be updated on new drops and content. So Steady Mobbin, who also had quite a few different variations of how their name was spelled. Sometimes it was Steady MOBB/N. Sometimes it was Steady Mobbin INs, and sometimes just MOBB, no hyphen and an N. But Steady Mobbin consisted of Crooked I and Billy Bathgate from the Ghost Town section of West Oakland. So Steady Mobbin was with No Limit in its early days, released one album in 1997 entitled Premeditated Drama, which was a collaboration with No Limit, distributed from Priority Records and Bombshell Music. And they also went on to release Black Mafia in 1998. Now, myself personally, I felt as though the Steady Mobbin albums was kind of slept on in some degree within No Limit. Now, we know that they was heavily featured on the I'm About It soundtrack too. So, that was a hot song. But in terms of singles, we also see them featured on the Game of Life single with Snoop Dogg, which was a hot single, to be honest, and it had the X-rated video. That was definitely a hot one. But I think these guys was definitely a standout on most of the songs they featured on. Primarily Bathgate, not to take nothing away from Crooked I, and he was actually the first rapper I'm familiar with by the name Crooked I. An interesting story, when Crooked I, from The Row came out, he went on to be Crooked I in Slaughterhouse. I remember thinking, I had already heard of a Crooked I, which was a Crooked I through Steady Mobbin. So Steady Mobbin, in 1995, would release a cassette EP titled Blood Money, and in 1997 they were signed to Master P's record label, No Limit Records, and made their first mainstream appearance in their collaboration single with Master P entitled If I Could Change, produced by No Limit Records in-house producer DJ Darryl. And DJ Darryl at the time, I don't know if you remember him, he had produced a lot of stuff for the West Coast, including Tupac, and was an original early member of Beats by the Pound, to what I can recall. So this was on their album Premeditated Drama, and Master P would be added to the song eventually, and it would be used as the first single from the I'm About It music and so motion picture soundtrack. So the album was a success, and it made it to number 29 at the Billboard 200 and number 6 on the top R&B and hip hop albums. The following year, Steady Mobbin would release their second album, Black Mafia, which only made it to number 82 on the Billboard 200. And it says, Master P severed all ties with them, and the duo went their own way. So we don't know too much onto why ties were severed, or if it was just a disagreement with music or clash of styles, but we always felt that Steady Mobbin brought something fresh to the tank. Yeah, so Steady Mobbin definitely came off with that OG West Coast sort of feel and flavor, definitely spitting a lot of street life and ghetto stories. They were good standouts, but featured with Snoop Dogg as well, sort of comprising that West Coast sound. And also, I love their feature with Soulja Slim on the Give It To Him Raw album. Those guys killed it. Like I said, I think they really fit well on a lot of the Beats by the Pound production. Even though I thought that album was tight, but it didn't really get the same sort of feel from me as some of the other No Limit albums did. Even though it was still stacked with features, it had a bunch of hot songs on there, including Steady Mobbin's Black Mafia album, which had the Lil Soldiers on there on the track titled Lil Niggas, which was definitely a standout featuring Master P and the Lil Soldiers. Freedom Unique, aka the Cops of Short Circuit, he spoke about it on his interview somewhat, just how some of that song came together, so definitely check that out. But yeah, guys, this album, like I said, it was definitely a hot one. The Black Mafia album, it had the Ghetto Life single as featured with Snoop Dogg, Old Dollar, Master P. Had Still Hustling with Sons of Funk, When the Killers Call featuring C. Papa Don't Raise No Punks featuring C. Had a lot of hard tracks, hard edge, but I always felt that Steady Mobbin shined a lot more on the tracks, or some of the tracks they featured on, as opposed to their own album release. So I don't know what you guys think. Let us know your thoughts. What verses do you remember from Steady Mobbin, Crooked I, and Bathgate? Who was your particular favorite? You know, I was always quite excited to hear Bathgate on a verse on some tracks. You know, we spoke about the Prime Suspects album not too long ago. They had the song on there, We Got to Do. We also can go to, you know, Magic's album, I Got Love For You, another solid track that features Steady Mobbin. So, you know, these guys will always standouts on the tank and always standouts on the tracks that they featured on. So Steady Mobbin wouldn't make it through to No Limit in 1999. By 98, they had left. You know, we hadn't really heard too much about them. And, you know, there were definitely artists that we wondered where they was at and what they were working on now. So in 2001, they would request help from their frequent collaborating producer DJ Darryl, who would later sign them to his label Bombshell Music, and they would later release their third album titled Crime Buddies. And in 2003, Steady Mobbin would release their fourth album entitled Espionage through their newly started label at the time, Black Mafia Records and Big Body Records. So I remember hearing a bit about Black Mafia Records at the time, and Bathgate was kind of spearheading it. And I think they dropped a compilation. He had some tight tracks on there and stuff like that as well. They was working a lot with Fizz Entertainment and guys like that.
Bathgate, going off the cognac, I know you remember that. Cool songs, twist another sack. Cash, Bathgate's a winner. I'm back to get bigger. Master P, that's my nigga. C Murder, he a hitter. He ain't scared. Bathgate saying fuck you, nigga. Ghost Town to go down, we'll tuck you, nigga.
Yeah, so then we see something featured on the Fizz Nation mixtape album. Some Sweet Something Better, Bathgate, one of my, you know, favorite songs that he put out during that time. You know, it had that dope West Coast sound. My whole thing was, you know, we gave props to PNC on there, which I thought was real. I don't know what the issue was with EA Ski, but he took a shot at EA Ski on that track too. So Bathgate, as I said, will go on to continue a string of releases and continue pushing his music career forward. And you can find Bathgate on Instagram, Billy Bathgate, but he appears to still be, you know, on his grind, pushing music, doing stuff out of Oakland. Sadly, in other news, Crooked I, things haven't been that well for. It's been reported as of 2019, so we're unsure if this is still the case. But as October 2019, it was reported that Crooked I was homeless and had been living in California in a homeless encampment. So as we can see from this news report, we're going to check this out and kind of close on this. So we want to say thoughts and prayers definitely to Crooked I. You know, we don't know where that brother's at now. Hopefully he in a better place. And, you know, I think it's definitely a real interview and stuff like that. And, you know, peace to him for doing this and raising awareness and spreading light on homelessness and stuff like that too, because it's definitely a serious issue. So we want to say, check this out.
Enclosed by fencing on a busy street corner, the encampment sits near the freeway and just blocks from the Fruitvale station, where 22-year-old African-American Oscar Grant was shot to death by a BART police officer on New Year's Day in 2009. Some of the people living on this cramped lot were forced there when a larger encampment across the street was shut down by the city earlier this year. When we got to the area, one of the people living there came out to greet us, Aaron Edmond, known as Crooked Eyes or Crook. In the 90s, he was a member of the hip-hop duo Steady Mobbin, whose first record made the Billboard Top 40. What's your name?
Crook.
And how long have you lived here?
I've been here for about 2.5 to 3 years. Yeah, I was herded down here for the city of Oakland. They got a lot of people on 16th, which is like 4 blocks up, and they had all the police round us up and say all the homeless people are designated to come down here to this, that land that's gated up right there. That used to be open land, and they told us all to come down here, and they even picked us up and dropped us off down here.
They picked you up like in buses?
They picked us up in police cars and drove us down here and told us this is where we have to be. It's either this or jail.
And then you came down here, and then what happened?
We came down here, then they wanted to take the land back. As the city, they seem like they don't care. All they want to do is acquire land to build property for the rich to make more money off of, and the poor is just being decimated at every turn.
We're just going to move inside this encampment because the noise and the fumes from the truck, from the street, it's a little overpowering. If you were to apply for a job, you need to be able to give an address. What would you do based on you living here?
I would give the gas station's address, or an address that's close to me, that's right here, or something like that. That's all I could do. I mean, I have no home, no way to, or.
So how long have you been without a home?
For about 5 years.
And how does it make you feel? What does it do to you?
It makes you almost feel unhuman. And I mean, because society stereotypes a homeless person as a person that's on drugs, a person that's don't want to do nothing, a person that's just giving up on life, they just want to go sit by the wayside and do drugs and just give up on life. That's not true. A lot of us was here, like I received Social Security, for my mental health state, but
you're on SSI.
Yeah, I'm on SSI. But when they raised the rent, and I only get $850, and now where I was paying $450 is raised up to $900, and I only get $850. I mean, where's the room for groceries, PG&E, light and gas, water? I mean, it leaves no room for nothing. So when that happens, you have two choices. Either you're gonna go commit crime and try to stay up in there, or you coming out here.
How has being without a house changed you?
It has humbled me. It has made me very grateful for when I did have a home. And for all those that do have a home, that you really have something special. I mean, because when at nighttime, when it gets cold, you have adequate shelter. You don't feel the wind. I feel the wind. I feel all the elements. I have next to no shelter. And it's like, I really feel humbling. It's a humbling experience.
Where do you live here?
Right now, I live in the vac truck that's right behind this structure right here. It used to be a U-Haul truck, and I made it into a little room and shelter, to keep me from the elements and, to try to keep warm and dry at times.
Can you show it to us?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Where do you dream of living?
I dream of living anywhere that's a home, that's a house that has running water, a faucet, a bathtub. I would really love to take a bath for a change. I mean, I would really like that. I mean, that would mean the world to me, just to take a bath or a hot shower, normally like other people. Anywhere, anywhere I would be given a chance to stay, I would treat it like a mansion. It would be like my everything.
Yeah, so peace family, there we see definitely a sad and unfortunate situation to see Crooked I in that state. One thing we want to say that he definitely is maintaining a positive outlook in this clip. As we say, we don't know what his condition is now. We have tried to reach out to Bathgate and see if we can get an interview or something done at some point. But most importantly, thoughts and prayers are up with Crooked I. As we said, it's a shame when we see some of our stars from yesteryear in that state. We have to talk about hip-hop needing a union. And we represent a union of hip-hop and just for the culture. So we definitely want to salute and commend these guys on their work. So keep the thoughts and prayers up and keep positive and stuff. Hopefully, like I said, Crooked I has found his feet again. And, peace to him for using his voice to raise awareness on mental health and the conditions that people are forced to live in, and see that these things can afflict and happen to anybody. Doesn't matter how big or small you are, how popular or unpopular you are. So peace to the family. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Peace.
You don't know it's me, Big Animal right here.
My name is INS the Rebel, man. Salute to Birmingham. It's your boy Grinch. Judge of Souls, chilling right now. About That TV exclusive.
And that's why you go to About That online, so that you can most definitely know what's going down when you need to know what's going down. You dig?
Real recognize real.
About That TV.
Keep it locked. Don't go nowhere.
Keep watching About That TV.
You don't know it's all about that TV, yeah? You don't know. Pow! Shot.
Peace, family. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and check us out on BoutThatOnline.com. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook for exclusive playlists and social media for all different types of segments and content.